Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make a red and blue chaos spiral. I have the shirt turned inside out and I'm using a washable marker to find where I'd like to start the center of my spiral. I'm going to attach a pair of locking tweezers to this mark, and then I'm going to use a microwave splatter guard, which I'm going to turn upside down so that the flat side is against my shirt. My splatter guard has a hole in the center, and I'm going to place my locking tweezers through that hole in the center of the splatter guard. Then, as I begin to twist my tweezers, I'm going to use my other hand to make additional folds in the shirt. The microwave splatter guard is going to help to keep those folds just about the same height. Once I get my shirt spiraled, I'm going to hold the folds in place with some rubber bands. After I finished tying the shirt, I went ahead and placed it aside, and by the time I came back to apply the dye, it was already dry. It doesn't have to be though. You can apply the dye to this shirt while it's still damp. I mentioned that I was going to do a red and blue chaos spiral, and basically that means that instead of applying my dye in a nice, neat, straight line, I'm going to just kind of chaotically apply my dye to the top of the spiral. And I'm choosing to only use these two colors. By the way, all the dye that I'm using today is all from Dharma Trading Company. Before I begin, I've placed my shirt on top of a metal rack or shelf, which I have down inside of a plastic tote. I'm going to make myself an ice barrier using some silicone cake molds. I have a link to the cake molds and most of the other items that I use when I tie-dye down below this video in the description. I'm also using a lot of colors of dye on this shirt, so I have all of those listed below as well. Since the shirt is completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and lightly spray a little bit of soda ash solution over the top of the shirt. This is going to help the dye to stick a little better to my folds. To apply the dye to the shirt, I'm going to take each color and apply small amounts just kind of randomly across the shirt. In other words, chaotically apply the dye. I want to vary and mix up the red and the blue. I don't want to just put like red on one side or blue on the other side. I want to try to put kind of a similar amount of red and blue both on the shirt. I'm also sorry, but my video camera keeps losing focus. I have been having problems with this since the weather got a little warmer. I think sometimes I either get like little flies or something into my dye space and they fly in front of my camera and my camera tries to focus on those. So I'm really sorry, it just keeps kind of coming and going out of focus. Okay, so let me give you the dye colors that I'm using. I'll start with the reds. Like I said, all of these are Dharma colors. I'm using burgundy, cardinal red, jungle red, dynamite, Chinese red, fire red, and atomic fireball. Then for the blues, I'm using royal blue, sapphire blue, alpine blue, Houdini blue, azure blue, sky blue, and midnight blue. You know, if you don't have these colors, or maybe you don't have this many colors, that doesn't matter. Just use the colors that you have. You can use more of the ones that you have, or you can add other colors. You know, that's kind of the fun thing about a chaos spiral is you can use a lot of colors and they usually turn out looking really cool. I'm also going to almost totally cover my shirt with dye, but you don't have to if you don't want to. You're welcome to leave some white or blank space in between the colors if you want. Now that I have the dye on the shirt, I'm going to add an additional sprinkle of dry soda ash over the top, and then I'm going to add on some ice cubes. As the ice started to melt, I noticed I had some gaps in between my ice cubes, so I came back and piled a few more ice cubes on top to kind of fill in those gaps. Then after the ice melted, I took the shirt outside and allowed it to process out in the heat. I also added a second layer of ice, and after that second layer of ice melted, I went ahead and left the shirt about 24 hours before I began rinsing it. To rinse the shirt, I took it to my utility sink and I began rinsing it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. I warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing in hot water to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. I untied the shirt and then I decided to soak the shirt instead of just continuing to rinse. I ran some really hot water in my utility sink, added a little bit of Blue Dawn dish detergent to the water, and allowed the shirt to soak. When the water cooled off, I changed it out and I continued that soaking process until my water was remaining almost clear. Then I put the shirt along with some Dharma's professional textile detergent into my washing machine and I washed it using a hot water cycle. Okay, so the shirt's been washed, dried, and ironed, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one turned out really cool. I love the chaos spirals. I mean, I like that just explosion of color. I think they look really cool. And I did this one kind of with the patriotic theme in mind, but I do have a few areas on this shirt that have a little bit of purple, which is to be expected because I did put red and blue right up next to each other. I also used some blues which kind of split out with a little bit of purple. Which, by the way, all of these are Dharma colors that I used on this shirt, and Dharma has now made available photos of what their dyes look like with the color splits if you use them for ice dyeing. So if you're maybe new to ice dyeing and would like to purchase some of the Dharma colors, you can now see how the colors split and what they're going to look like if you use them for ice dyeing. So Dharma Trading Company, if you happen to see this video, thank you so much for doing that. That is so helpful. Okay, so even though I do have some purples on here, it's not a ton, and I really do think it looks very much like a patriotic spiral. I have a chaos spiral that I did red and blue years ago. I mean, so long ago, I have no clue what colors I used on it. And I have to say, I think it's one of my favorite shirts. I wear it all the time. And I think this one looks really cool too. But what do you guys think? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know what you think about it. Are you guys fans of the chaos spiral too? And if you've enjoyed watching my video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll receive a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.